Welcome to our podcast on dangerous goods. And with us is Joost Overdijking, expert in the matter. Joost, what is the topic all about?
Well, the international transport of dangerous goods is, first of all, particularly complex. So I think it's important that in this short session we go a bit deeper into how it actually works. And it's complex because the safety requirements are very stringent, which is logical because the transport needs to be done not only in an economical way, but also in a very safe way. And to achieve that, over the past 130 years, the whole sector and member and nation states have developed a large range of legislation and guidelines that together form let's say, a solid building of interconnected and logically constructed rules which make the transport of dangerous goods possible.
And why is it specifically important for rail?
Well, relatively speaking, the market for dangerous goods, for the transport of dangerous goods, is small when compared to, for example, a normal container market. But it is a relatively secure market for rail because of the mass transport characteristics of the rail sector, and also because rail is a particularly safe method of transport. So it is important for us that we keep that market, that we make sure that we stay up to date to the regulations, and that we protect these particular assets that we have, especially the safety part, so that the business can not only stay healthy but develop and become healthier. And so that goes for both the international regulation, but also for the sector's own rules when it comes to international carriage of dangerous goods, because these have to be harmonized. Otherwise, you would have at the first border that you cross, you would have problems of interpretation, and you would have legal issues. And next to that, it is important that the legislation stays favorable for the rail sector, and in that UIC is the expert representative for many years at the competent authorities. And apart from that, we are also the sector's only accredited organization at the United Nations. And with that, we have, I think, developed a long-standing reputation for expertise and reliability in this field.
Mm-hmm. It remains a bit generic topic, but how are dangerous goods within the rail context defined?
Dangerous goods, I'll read it out. Dangerous goods means those substances and articles, the carriage of which is prohibited by RID or authorized only under the conditions prescribed therein. So very formal. And this is the definition that is given by the regulations concerning the international carriage of dangerous goods by rail, which everyone knows better by the name of RID. And we are specifically concerned with the transport of the dangerous goods, which also includes the temporary stocking of dangerous goods during transshipment, and with the protection of employees, of consumers, and of the environment by ensuring that the risk for accidents are minimized to the maximum. And of course, the other transport modes do the same thing. So they don't have RID, but they have ADR for the road sector and ADN for the European inland waterways. And these two sets of agreements between nation states are managed by the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, or European Commission for Economics, which does not comprise only Europe, but also Canada and the United States. So it's actually a very large commission with a large scope, meaning that it is a large geographical area that has harmonized rules. And so we have the RID, which is an appendix to a convention signed by or used by about 50 member states. which has the status of a treaty, which has a large sphere of working in Europe, in the Middle East, and around the Mediterranean Rim. And and its origins date back to 1893. So you have in this regulation, you have an enormous amount of expertise based on the development of safety thinking and safety methods and transport methods.
And as far as I understood, UIC has been there since the early days. Was its specific function? What is the specific role of UIC in that?
Well, I think the role has developed over the years, and the role of UIC now is that our members so we work for the infrastructure managers for railway undertakings and integrated railway companies. And we define and manage uniform guidelines with which, if you follow these guidelines, you are considered to fulfill certain conditions of the RID. And they are concerned with two things. One, with the inspection of dangerous goods consignments upon acceptance of these consignments. These are a uniform set of rules. And the other is concerned with the emergency planning for marshalling yards. If you have those two, if you have implemented those two guidelines, managed and made and kept up to date by UIC, then you fulfill those conditions of the RID.
And those guidelines are compulsory?
So they're not compulsory, but using them means for you as a member or a non-member that if you can take them over from UIC, you implement them, and then you do not have to develop these same guidelines, these same rules yourself. You don't have to develop which checks you're going to do upon acceptance of a consignment, because it's already been done. And why do something yourself that has already been done by a large group of companies together who have harmonized this set of rules in order also to avoid interpretation differences when a consignment is handed over to the next railway undertaking.
UIC has been in the topic since the early days. What do you consider as really the achievements that we have realized?
I think we have for a long time now, with the input of our technical solutions, been able to make sure that the international legislation develops in a way that is safe, but also good for the railway transport market.
And so maybe as let's say representative of the group, and what would you say in a few words? Why should new parties join?
Well, if you join a UIC, your technical input and your experience will be part of that larger shaping work of UIC.
Okay, thank you very much, Joost, for this very, very nice summary. This brings us to the end of this podcast, and I hope that we will see you soon in one of the coming sessions.